Walk Me Home, Sunday night edition, the last day of May. It isn't too late though. I got off at 9 tonight, so I'm headed home. It is dark and creepy still. Well, mostly dark and creepy. But I'm okay. I've got my angel wings. But yeah, I just it's interesting how I get opposition. Last week I had an accident. God was very merciful though. Well, I had a fall, but I have a big bruise, but it doesn't hurt and it doesn't affect me. Thank you, God. Unlike some of my other falls I've had where I just, was really suffering for a long time. And that did not happen this time. So I had that. I had the depression, and I had, work hassles, and tonight was some more work hassles, but they reassigned me, which is fine. I'll when I walk in the door, I'll do whatever they tell me to do, if it's in the Ten Commandments. And, they laugh about that, but, that's pretty much my rule. One day I did something totally outside my job description. That was fine, I'm here to work, help the company make money. So, am I doing that with my actions? I hope so. I hope I made the company some money tonight. So, anyways, I had some issues, but I documented what I did do, so I think it should be okay. And I think it serves a couple of purposes when I have setbacks like depression or an injury or an illness or that kind of thing. That it's easy to just think I'm doing this on my own and that I don't need any help. Because if there's voices from the devil that talk to me, that's probably the worst thing it says, is that I don't need any help. I'm very, very bad about that. I don't like to ask for help ever. So, hang on a second. Okay. All right. Just praying for whoever is at the other end of that call and for the first responders. It's always good to pray for their safety and just their mental health and stuff. I feel really a burden for the one man who responded to Ron's death, because there were two firemen who came in the door first and they initiated CPR. Well, they got Ron off the bed and I couldn't move him by myself. And they got him off the bed and they put him on the floor and they did CPR on him until the paramedics came. And then the paramedics did their thing. There were, I think, 3 or 4 paramedics plus the 2 firemen. And then eventually a supervisor showed up when it was obvious Ron wasn't going to make it. And then a policeman showed up after they declared him dead, I guess, he said he had to stay there until the body went away. So he was there for a while because the ME took his sweet time coming. The wagon, or whatever you want to call it, but it was during COVID. Anyways, he was an older gentleman, white guy, late 50s, I'd say. And he was working so hard on Ron, him and his partner. And he kept saying things like, oh, he's still warm. And, he really, really wanted to save him. And, Ron was gone. And after they declared him dead, he walked past my kitchen table and he just stopped and he looked down at the vitamin box I had for Ron, one of those pills of the week things. And it had a couple of compartments because he was on different things. He had like the morning pills and the evening pills. So I had the one with the larger compartments, it had like a couple of compartments for each day. And he was just staring at it, and he picked it up and he said, I have the same thing at home. And he was really having a very hard time with Ron's death. And I didn't get a chance to give him a gospel packet before he left. And let me tell you guys, I never have any regrets about people I give gospel packets to. It's the ones that got away before I could. Those are the ones that haunt me, and that guy haunts me. And I sent some Bibles and things to the firehouse a couple months later. I actually ran into the chief one day when I had already done up the outreach. It was very interesting how God set that up, but did he get it? I don't know. And, I just didn't know how to tell him at the time. It's his time. Ron needs to go to heaven. There's things that need to happen in my life now that he's gone. And he just, I just felt so bad for him, the firemen. So yes, I have a very soft spot for them, and for any kind of first responder like that. And the policemen, and I think there were like a lot of people from the medical examiner, like 5 or 6 total. They all got a gospel packet. The paramedics got a gospel packet, but the fire guys left so quick. I didn't get a chance. I wasn't thinking, obviously my husband had just died, but he had just been declared dead. He had been dead for a while, I think. Well, a couple hours. But so I just have a soft spot for them, which is one reason I carry like the Fireman Outreach Bibles, which I was very generously gifted, and the Police Outreach Bibles, which I used sponsor money to get. They weren't horribly expensive either. About as much as like a paperback whole Bible. So I was trying to have that stuff, but it's the ones that get away that get me, And I'm here to be a light. I'm here to go in dark places, and sometimes it's the store that's the dark place, and it was tonight, and it's just sad, but I'm just here to love my neighbors. I love myself. Pray for those who persecute me. Bless those who curse me. And that's all I can do. And God enables me to do that. I cannot do any of that on my own strength. But, I had a very strong sense of peace tonight. And, God has this. And I don't need to stress. And one of my friends told me, you have allies here. And basically, that was implied. You're okay. So I'm not going to worry. And if, something happens, then God has something better for me, I just need to seek his will. But I'm very, very bad at asking for prayer coverage for myself from my friends who are believers. I'm very, very bad at asking for coverage for myself in my regular prayers. I pray for the recipients multiple times a day. I pray for my family, probably, not every day always, but, I'm praying for them regularly, at least, a couple to several times a week. If they're traveling or whatever, I'm praying for that, while it's happening. But, I just need to get better about asking for it. I guess blessings for myself, I'm not good at that. And I think that's why God allows setbacks sometimes. But let me tell you, it is a blessing. That leg works so, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt at all, and it looks so bad. I might show you when I get home. But yeah, it looks horrible. But it doesn't hurt. That's all that matters, because I tripped and I went down, and God had me land on the hip and not my arm, thinking, oh, not the arm, yeah. So, yeah, the arm's sad enough. The left hand, I sprained a finger sometime before, years before Ron died. I forget when exactly, but it was, he was still coming to work with me, and he was still pretty sharp, so, probably, say 4 or 5 years before he died. So about 10 years ago, I was bringing a case of water up a ramp at work. They were on a cart, a bus cart, a big metal bus cart with a couple of shelves on it, and I hit a crack in the pavement, and the case of water fell off, and I tried to catch it, which was not smart. And the finger caught it and got wrenched pretty good. And that hurt me for a month or two. It was not fun. And then 23, late summer, I tripped on a Bible handout over a sandbag at Imperial Valley in Greens. Note that address. And fell on my hands and knees, and broke my my right middle finger, the middle joint. I cracked it. I didn't it wasn't like crooked or anything, but it was cracked, and I had to wear a splint for a couple of months on that. I could still work though, and had some nasty abrasions too. That was not fun. And that's the only thing that stopped me from going back to the handout, was the fact that I was bleeding, and nobody wants a Bible from somebody who's bleeding. So, now, are they moving or what? So they better leave a case of beer or something out there for the sanitation guys. So, and then last year I had 2 accidents. One on the bus, almost broke the arm, almost broke my head. That was not fun. That was about 4 months recovery period. And then a couple months after that, and that happened at Imperial Valley and Greens Road on the bus. And then late, I think it was early. It was November. I don't remember when exactly, but I think it was early November. And I was doing a Bible handout at Imperial Valley and Greens Road, and I was being hassled by the Nation of Islam dudes. And I basically told them to back off, and held up a Bible, and I said, I serve this God. I don't serve your God. You need to get away. And I put the Bible down. I went back to work, and I noticed the guys were gone. And I got a little haughty about that, I think. No, I know. I was getting kind of swelled head. Haha, look at me. I'm the big warrior. Next thing I know, I trip over the handle of my Bible bag, which I had set down. And I went down on my hands and knees again. This time I got the elbow. So the elbow is almost better. But yeah, it was pretty unhappy for a while. But again, I could still work. So today, there's a guy on one of those electric scooters, but he's going the other way. He has real pale skin, though. I don't know who he is, because we don't have a lot of white people in my neighborhood. So, last week I fall, and I just basically smacked the side of my butt, right under where the hip joint is, on the outer side of my leg. And I will show you. And it hurt, but at the time, but it's fine now. And wow, that yard looks great. Look at this. My guy did an amazing job. I feel like I got like the 5-star treatment. I'm gonna tell him that. Yeah, that is good work. So, we still haven't done any sod or anything where they did my pipes, but they might have to dig it up again. So, yeah, so I'm okay with that, but it's just a lot sometimes. But I gotta remember, I'm not doing this in my strength. God gives me what I need to do what I need to do what He needs me to do, because there are people out there who are seeking Him, and people are scared to go and serve Him. I got this at Dollar Tree. I think it is adorable. I love it. I'm gonna get a couple more to have in reserve when this one gets all ready. Look, he did such a good job. So, let me tell you, I did not have the yard of the month before this guy came out. So, I really thought there was a very good odds that he was going to come out and take a look and say, no thanks. I didn't know it was that bad. Or, we're going to need to talk about, a better payment compensation. So, but I've decided he's definitely getting more than he quoted me every time. So, even if it isn't like a major cleanup like the last one was. So, anyways, yeah, so I need to remember it's God's strength doing the work, not my own strength, because I am not up to the task of evangelism. I'm not up to the task getting ready for work, guys. Sometimes that's just, it's only at the hand of God. So, anyways, I will show you the grizzly wound, and it just is, oops. See, I have to remember things like this. So, I have a routine that when I get home, I park my buggy up front, and then I hang my badge, not my badge, my bus pass and my keys on the door. So when I always know where it is. And that has been the best routine for me. The house smells like old wet cat food. Not fun. I don't see any cats, but it's a nice night. So I'm going to take off my shoes, and I will show you my injury. The phone is already calibrated, so I just need to make sure I don't do something indecent because of the way of the injury. Hang on a sec. I'm gonna go in the bathroom and do this and put hey, I hear Mr. Kitty Cat. So I think a hand towel. Yeah. Meow. Hi, sweetheart. He was in the garage. It was first for a while, it was by the toilet here. Then it was the garage. So who knows where it'll be next. But, yeah, this is 6 days after the accident. I did not get the woman in trouble. I did not report her because, like I told my friend, it wasn't malicious. She didn't trip me. She didn't shove me. She didn't assault me. She just set something down on the floor when my back was turned, and I didn't see it when I came back around, and I tripped. So here it is. Look at that. Pretty spectacular, huh? But it doesn't hurt. Now, I don't know why exactly. I have theories. I got some arnica on it as quick as I could, which was a few hours. I did not have arnica on me, which was not smart. And then let me show you and then I started taking the tablets, and I'm going to take these tablets to work, the box, and give it to my friend. I started taking these also, and a roll-on, which I have left at work. And that has been the key, I think, is just using the arnica. So I didn't really need any kind of over-the-counter painkiller or anything. Just do my usual headache pill if I wake up. Hi, sweetheart. Mr. Kitty Cat. Hi. Hi, sweetie. He was sleeping, I can tell. Okay, that's it.